Now at 9, a two-tractor-trailer collision happened on I-44 earlier this morning. Plus, the George Washington Carver Epitaphs and Engraving Program is open to the public for viewing today. And what student loan forgiveness could mean for taxpayers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A crash left I-44 West closed at Range Line for over 3 hours. This is your KOAM News at 9. I'm Jalen Banks. Just after 3 a.m., reports of a crash on I-44 came in near the 8-mile marker. Joplin Police Department, Joplin Fire Department, and ambulances were on the scene. The crash involved 2 tractor-trailers, ripping the cab off of one of them. Thankfully, there were no life-threatening injuries. Last night, Joplin Police Department and other area departments took to the roads for an annual DWI enforcement campaign. The campaign has extra officers out on the road late at night, helping enforce safe and sober driving. This is Joplin Police Department's 4th year participating in the event. Other departments that participated included Jasper County Sheriff's Department, Newton County Sheriff's Department, Webb City Police Department, Seneca PD, Oronogo PD, and others. Last night, JPD responded to an assault call at Schiffendecker Golf Course. When they arrived, they found that there was an altercation between 2 parties. They have since identified all parties, and the investigation is ongoing. If you have any information on the matter, contact Joplin Police Department. George Washington Carver was an American agricultural scientist and inventor who promoted alternative crops to cotton methods and prevent soil depletion. He was the most prominent black scientist in the early 20th century. Today, the National Park Service invited the public to come and investigate the symbols and engravings found on headstones in the Carver Family Cemetery. KOAM Shagun Bamdali has more on the story.
Today, the National Park Service invited the public to come investigate the symbols and engravings found on the headstones in the Carver Family Cemetery.
So today is our Epitaphs and Engraving program, which focuses more on the Carver Family Cemetery and the different images that can be found in historic cemeteries.
Valerie tells me what the engravings and symbols mean.
There's also engravings that are messages that are sometimes left for people that are left behind, or kind of a message for the hereafter. Valerie
also tells me how many graves are there.
There are 21 graves that we are certain of, and we have the Carver family, the McGinnis family, the Brown family, and the Ellis family are all buried here.
Valerie tells me why there are lots of children buried in the cemetery.
In the 1800s, and in many cases in the frontier and in the kind of medicinal medicine was it was more common from like plants and stuff, and many of it worked, some of it does not. But in a childhood in the 1800s was not an easy childhood. There are so many things like diseases, falling from horses, getting bit by snakes, all kinds of things that could happen that can affect a child's life.
Valerie finally tells me why events like this are important.
You can learn so much from a historic cemetery. If you go into a historic cemetery, or even cemeteries today, you can learn so much about family and about how they lived in some cases. So it's just kind of another story and another way to kind of tell the story.
Diamond, Shagabamdile, KOAM News.
To find more local events such as that one, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And now Sam Lane joins us with the first look at the weather.
Thank you very much. It was another hot day across the 4 states, as it has been for quite some time. In fact, it got up close to 100 for our friends over there in Sedan today. 92 in Pittsburgh, 92 in Joplin, 90 down in Grove and Jay. A little bit cooler, if you want to call 89 cooler, over in Stockton this afternoon. 89 also for our friends down in Bentonville. Let's take a look at the temperatures right now. They have fallen down into the mid-80s across our region, even some lower 80s showing up in Monette and Cassville. Meanwhile, it's still close to 90 at this hour in Chinook. Let's take a look at the almanac today. We did make it up to 92 here in Joplin, 70 for the low, which of course was above normal, but at least we weren't close to that 105 set back in 1954. There is some rain on the radar, and I'll have more details coming up in our forecast on that, so stay tuned.
Federal investigators are poring over classified documents that were seized from former President Trump's compound in Florida earlier this month. This, as Republican lawmakers are questioning why they hadn't been made aware of the concerns over the former chief executive taking vital documents out of the White House. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff takes a look.
The Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, has informed lawmakers on the House Intelligence and Oversight Committees that her office is conducting an assessment of how classified documents were handled by former President Trump. This, of course, comes after the Friday release of the redacted affidavit used to obtain a search warrant on the former president's Florida home. It described that in January, 15 boxes of documents were turned over by Trump's team. According to the Justice Department, highly classified records were found mixed in with unrelated notes, magazines, and newspapers. Some of it, the department argued, could have compromised foreign relations and human intelligence sources.
The Department of Justice had probable cause vetted by a judge that Donald Trump was obstructing justice and in violation of the espionage clause. This is about our national security.
But if this was known earlier this year, Republican Senator Roy Blunt wants to know why he and others weren't notified.
Why hadn't the Intelligence Committee that I've been on for my time in the Senate and time in the House, why hadn't we heard anything about this? In fact, if the administration was concerned that there was a national security problem.
A small victory for the Trump legal team came yesterday when Judge Eileen Cannon issued a notice of preliminary intent to appoint a third-party attorney to review the documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. The Justice Department was also ordered to provide under seal a more detailed list of what was seized. Trump's legal team argues that some of the items that were taken may have been protected under executive and attorney-client privilege. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Some Democrats are criticizing President Biden's decision to forgive hundreds of millions of dollars in student loan debt, while others in the party are celebrating the president's plan. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has more from the White House.
The progressive wing of the Democratic Party is very happy President Biden decided to forgive some student loans. But some Democrats, like Congressman Tim Ryan in Ohio running in a close Senate race against J.D. Vance, are not.
We got rid of shop class. We got rid of the kind of things that really build out the working class and the skilled trades. And so here we are, and we've done nothing to control the costs of college.
Right.
So we're going to be in the same position here in 5 years. So part of a comprehensive package we could look at, but just this direct targeted thing I don't think is sending the right message.
Many Republicans agree.
It's arbitrarily picking a group of individuals, and we're going to arbitrarily just cancel their debt with the stroke of a pen, which, again, not even going through Congress. That's fairly illegal. It adds hundreds of billions of dollars at a time when we're trying to bring inflation under control.
Some think the plan is an effort by President Biden to buy votes ahead of the midterm elections. In 2020, about 60% of 18 to 29-year-olds voted for Biden. Last month, the number of those young voters supporting the president had dropped to just 38%, according to the website 538. On Fox News Sunday and Media Buzz, Democrats defended Biden's decision.
We have business tax credits to help those who own businesses, and not everyone in America owns a business. But we help business owners because we want to promote it.
Look at what Goldman Sachs and Moody's, two top financial firms, have estimated. They've estimated that this would be either a wash inflation-wise, or it would actually be slightly deflationary.
President Biden heads to Ohio later this week with his approval rating still underwater. It's not clear if Congressman Tim Ryan will be there to greet him. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
We now take time to honor one of our four-state heroes. Infantryman Dustin Witten served in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Witten is a Miami, Oklahoma native. To Infantryman Dustin Witten, we thank you, our four-state hero. And coming up, some relief as experts say that the number of monkeypox cases are starting to drop. Over what? Topping our health stories, worries could be easy over the outbreak of the virus hitting some of the U.S. population. Federal officials say they're seeing a downward movement in the number of monkeypox cases, but they're cautiously optimistic about the rate of new infections. CDC data indicates numbers have been going down for about 2 weeks, with a 25% drop in new cases. The CDC's director, Rochelle Walensky, is choosing words carefully and hopes virus reduction information and vaccines taking hold could ease monkeypox cases. and they've also been declining in Europe and other countries where the virus was detected earlier than here in the U.S. Daily counts have been going down since July. Researchers with the North American Menopause Society say a small study is helping them understand the factors when menopause starts. The study uses a broad range of indicators. Biological ones include elevated level of follicle-stimulating hormone and estradiol and abnormal periods and symptoms. Other factors, living, socioeconomic, alcohol intake, contraceptive, smoking, and fitness could combine for a predictor model for the onset of menopause. The study is in the journal Menopause. It's another sign of America's fentanyl epidemic. Cities across the country are now making an emergency treatment for overdoses available to public in a surprising way. Fox News correspondent Brian Yenis has more from Philadelphia.
Click the button, that's it. We tapped it 4 times, got a whole kit.
Charlie Nolan is a harm reduction specialist with the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. Part of his job is keeping this recently installed Narcan vending machine in front of the Blackwell Library in West Philadelphia continuously stocked with 44 free doses of naloxone, also known as Narcan. These nasal sprays are an emergency medication that can reverse an opioid overdose, particularly fentanyl.
I was a little surprised by how casual that was. Is this becoming part of the norm? Yeah, I think in Philadelphia specifically, more and more people know what naloxone is and realize its usefulness and like the need to have it around. Once you gain access to a locker, it pops open. You reach inside and you'll find a bag with 2 doses of Narcan, gloves, a face shield, and a visual aid on how to administer the life-saving doses.
Do you think the Narcan tower has saved lives?
I do. We know that individuals are accessing the naloxone and using it.
The pilot program in Philadelphia is just one of many popping up across the country. In Detroit, Wayne State University has installed a total of 15 Narcan vending machines across Michigan, including on their own campus.
It saves that individual from dying. You can't go into recovery if you're dead.
Former DEA Deputy Chief of Staff Jim Crotty says this harm reduction strategy is only a stopgap measure and more is needed to combat the opioid and fentanyl crisis.
The ultimate goal can't be simply to keep people alive. You want people to be leading successful, fulfilling, healthy lives beyond their addiction.
Brian Yenis, Fox News.
And up next, Sam Lane gives us a full look at the forecast. We'll be right back with more after this.
Pitt State University.
Well, the summer heat just keeps rolling on across the 4 states with temperatures in the 90s across most of the area today, even approaching 100 out towards the west in the Sedan area this afternoon. But at least things are cooling down now. Down in Seneca at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, a pretty pleasant evening down there. Temperatures now in the mid-80s down there as well. As I mentioned, it's been hot for quite some time. We've now had 3 weeks this month already that were above normal on temperatures and 6 days below and only 1 normal day in August. And at least I guess we can take comfort in the fact that we're not hitting 100 degrees. But nevertheless, we are going to probably finish up being around the 14th hottest August ever in Joplin. We did have some relief this morning with the rumble of thunder and storms this morning rolling across our area. You can see on the rainfall amounts, the heaviest rainfall amounts were up to the north and west in Chanute and Yates Center area. There was one batch that went right across the Joplin metro area this morning, and that was much needed. But you can also see some folks didn't hardly receive any precipitation at all. Hopefully that will change as we go through the forecast. Temperatures right now are in the mid-80s, 85 in Joplin, 87 in Parsons, 89 in Chanute right now. And when we take a look at the dew points, they're just downright oppressive with dew points in the mid-70s. And on our meter, that means soupy, between muggy and soupy out there. And it looks like we're going to have some more storm chances coming up, and that's going to help out just a little bit with the temperatures. It feels like right now in the upper 80s to around 90 still in Parsons with 92 and 92 in Neodesha. A little bit cooler down in Grove where it currently feels like 83 degrees. Allergies, also a problem across our area with ragweed and chenopod. Today it was 10.2 out of 12. Tomorrow, a little bit better. So you might not be sneezing as much tomorrow with a 9.4. Currently in Joplin, we're sitting at 85 degrees with a south wind, and it feels like 91 because that dew point is up there at 72 degrees. All right, let's take a look at the future track forecast. You can see just a partly cloudy sky tonight with temperatures in the lower 70s across our area and southerly winds. Then as we go through the day tomorrow, notice scattered showers and storms forming across our area and then moving from east to west around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And hopefully these will start to spread across our area and give some relief in both terms of precipitation and temperatures. Then we have a cold front dropping down from the north, moving through on Tuesday morning. So that will drop our temperatures in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees, northerly winds. Then on Tuesday afternoon, that goes down to the south. And notice our winds come around to the north and east, keeping temperatures a little bit cooler. Still go, it's going to be 91, 90 in Chanute and 89 in Yates Center. So it looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer before we finally see a break in the real temperatures as far as the heat. All right, Wednesday morning, temperatures in the lower 60s and also lower dew points, so that's going to help out. Now, there is a marginal risk of severe weather tomorrow across our area. It's not a big threat. The biggest threat's going to be up in Illinois with some severe weather possible there. The biggest threat here is going to be heavy rain with some of those thunderstorms, but as I said, I don't think anyone's going to complain too much. And on the rainfall tracker, not a whole lot expected from those storms. An isolated storm could produce maybe half of an inch, but most areas are going to receive probably around a tenth or less. All right, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. 91 tomorrow, 40% coverage on storms. That continues into Tuesday morning, and then we turn dry as we go through the week into the next weekend, but there might be some changes in the long-range forecast depending upon the tropics. And we'll probably talk more about that tomorrow, but at least we're going to see chances of rain tomorrow and slightly cooler temperatures. Jalen?
I woke up to some rain this morning.
Wasn't it nice?
So, I don't know, I'm out for the count, but then I just kept hearing noise.
Yeah.
I woke up, I'm like, wait, is that thunder that I hear?
Yeah.
So seeing that it was kind of low on the forecast and waking up to it, I was pretty ecstatic. So
we called it, and we certainly had it, but not everybody got some, and hopefully everyone will by the time we end up with the forecast.
Absolutely. Happy to see some cooler temps.
Absolutely.
Cooler temps on the horizon.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Sam. And coming up, why Dell decided to cut all business ties with Russia. Companies that experienced unexpected booms during the pandemic are now experiencing unexpected busts. Peloton stock soared 434% as fitness enthusiasts skipped the gym to exercise at home. Now Peloton shares have lost more than 90% of their value since the end of 2020 as gyms reopen to full capacity. Online home goods retailer Wayfair is laying off 5% of its staff as consumers return to brick and mortar stores. Shopify is cutting 10% of its staff for the same reason. Zoom, which boomed during the pandemic as it replaced in-person business meetings, now has seen its earnings plunge 71%. And Netflix, whose share skyrocketed during the lockdown, is actually losing subscribers globally instead of increasing them. Computer giant Dell Technologies is ceasing all operations in Russia. A company spokesperson made the announcement on Sunday while saying Dell closed all offices and stopped doing business in Russia in mid-August. The spokesperson said the decision was made in February to not sell, service, or support products in Russia, Belarus, and the Donetsk and Luhansk regions of Ukraine. In addition to the already embargoed Crimea, Dell joins other American companies like McDonald's, Ford, and Starbucks in scaling back or stopping operations in Russia in response to its invasion of Ukraine. A tech giant will do real-world testing of the debunking concept that could affect how people combat misinformation. Researchers at Google's Jigsaw division will soon field test pre-bunking, which are ways to counteract misinformation ahead of its arrival. The short videos will be rolled out in Eastern Europe, focused on scapegoating fleeing Ukrainian refugees. The videos demonstrate how tactics are used in headlines and media posts and focus on characteristics rather than specific claims. Google has produced videos previously pre-bunking information about COVID-19 vaccines. The NFL and Buffalo Bills are under fire after the team released punter Matt Araiza. The team cut the highly regarded rookie from San Diego State University after a lawsuit accused him of taking part in sexual misconduct of a 17-year-old girl last year. New reports suggest other teams knew about the red flags, and the Bills ignored them and those potential warnings. Fox News correspondent Charles Watson is in Atlanta with details.
Former Buffalo Bills punter Matt Araiza has not only lost his job with the team, but he could possibly be staring at criminal charges in the future. This after an unnamed 17-year-old girl filed a civil suit in San Diego Superior Court accusing Araiza of rape. Now, the lawsuit also names two of Araiza's teammates at San Diego State, Xavier Leonard and Nalin Iwaliko. It alleges the 17-year-old first met Araiza, who was 21 at the time, at a house party in San Diego last October while she was visibly intoxicated. The suit goes on to claim that when the two were alone, Araiza told the minor to, quote, perform oral sex on him before leading her to a bedroom where the suit says she was gang raped by the three defendants for more than an hour as she fell in and out of consciousness. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane says the team found out about the allegations against Araiza in late July and launched an investigation, but the organization appeared to back their rookie punter after naming him a starter last week, a decision the team may be regretting as people question why the Bills didn't act sooner.
We tried to be thorough and thoughtful and not rush to judgment. And I would say it's not easy. You're trying to put facts around a legal situation, sometimes with limited information.
A lawyer representing the victim in the civil suit says, quote, the Buffalo Bills had no choice but to cut their young punter after so badly botching their response to our claim. On Friday, Araiza released a statement in defense of himself, writing, quote, the facts of the incident are not what they are portrayed in the lawsuit or in the press. I look forward to quickly setting the record straight. Now, the lawsuit in question does say that the victim, who again was a minor at the time, did alert police and did go to a hospital to receive a rape kit. We're told San Diego police have turned over their findings in their investigation to a local DA's office who is investigating this for possible criminal charges. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
A popular donut company created a new donut in celebration of NASA's new shuttle taking off tomorrow. We'll find out who. Krispy Kreme is celebrating NASA's new moon mission with a new space-themed donut. NASA is expected to launch a rocket on Monday for an uncrewed test flight around the moon. The Artemis 1 mission is the first step in NASA's plan to land a human on the moon for the first time in 50 years. So Krispy Kreme is launching the Artemis Moon Donut. It's a donut filled with cheesecake-flavored cream dipped in cookies and cream icing. The company says it's designed to look like the moon and will be available at Krispy Kremes across the country for just one day tomorrow. And that's it for now. We'll be back with more. Now at 9, tomorrow is a big day for NASA as they send off a rocket to the moon. Plus, the level of concern in Ukraine rises after radiation leaks continue. And in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs just ended their preseason against the Green Bay Packers. We'll have more.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, it looks like we're heading to the moon again. NASA's Artemis 1 mission is set to launch Monday morning. This go-around will be a stress test for the space vehicle that has never flown before. If everything goes well, astronauts would be able to fly aboard the future missions in hopes of eventually furthering space explorations. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri has the story.
I think that this just is a testament to what an incredible and phenomenal feat this rocket is, right? It's such a huge collaborative effort across the nation, internationally, and across our industry, which is just so beautiful. It really is America's rocket.
All eyes are on NASA as the Artemis 1 mission prepares to launch on a historic journey to the moon from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The rocket will not be carrying any astronauts, and it won't be technically landing on the lunar surface. But the uncrewed Orion spacecraft will carry cameras inside and outside of the capsule.
A lot to learn about the moon, and Artemis is going to be a vehicle that will land near the South Pole and
I think bring back a lot of information and hopefully lead into a moon base. Orion is expected to fly 40,000 miles past the moon, beating the record set by Apollo 13. The long-awaited return to the moon does not just have astronauts excited. Everyday Americans are already lining up to get a glimpse of the launch.
I can tell you this, you know there's a launch coming soon because all of a sudden this whole bank right here gets filled with people.
They walked on the moon when I was a kid, so I just want to see it start back up. Positive moves. Space and beyond, right? So, if this goes well, we'll be back here for the next launch.
Liftoff is expected between 8:33 and 10:33 a.m. Eastern Time. If weather or technical problems cause a delay, NASA has backup dates scheduled September 2nd and 5th. At Kennedy Space Center in Florida, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
And now Sam Lane joins us with another look at the weather.
Thank you very much. We had some storms in the area this morning roll across our region, and then this afternoon we had more storms blow up well to the east of Springfield, and also some storms down in Oklahoma. These are kind of dying right now, but we are getting the clouds blowing off from those, and so that's going to keep temperatures up just a little bit for the overnight hours. We made it up to 92 in Joplin today. We started out at 70. Normals are 88 and 66, and of course the record 105 back in 1954. And look at that. We picked up almost 2 inches of rain this morning, and that will certainly help out with our rainfall totals at 4.85 so far for the month. There is more rain in the forecast, and of course we'll have more details on that coming up in just a few short minutes, so you want to stay tuned.
Russian rockets and artillery strikes are dangerously coming close to Europe's largest nuclear power plant. The UN is now sending a special nuclear team this week to try and prevent a disaster. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan is in Kyiv with the latest.
Fighting on Sunday outside of Europe's largest nuclear power plant, once again prompting international concern, and it's the residents nearby who are taking matters into their own hands. People in Zaporizhia lined up to collect iodine pills over concerns of radiation leaks near Europe's largest nuclear power plant. As the war rages on past the 6-month mark, international aid packages have helped fortify Ukraine's defenses. Ukrainian troops sharing new footage of equipment like this howitzer from Germany.
We are currently deploying it in our battle. We have had training abroad.
Britain's Royal Navy is training Ukrainian troops to use mine-hunting underwater drones to clear Ukraine's waters, which will be specifically useful near the country's main port of Odessa. Altogether, Ukraine will receive 6 of these drones from the UK and the US. Despite the fighting, it is a big week across the country as millions of kids will head back to class for the first time since the start of the invasion. This past week, we visited a school in Irpin near the capital where every window has been blown out by Russian shelling. On top of normal back-to-school prep, representatives from every region have gone through war safety training to learn what to do in the event of a Russian occupation.
Every teacher will be familiar with instructions on how to act in a particular situation. When there is an air alarm, how to talk to children, when their parents arrive.
Back in the U.S., kids often learn fire drills and sometimes active shooter drills, while here children will practice air raid drills and even have their own specific spot in the school bomb shelter. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
And next, how the royal family plans to honor the late Princess Diana.
Area hearing.
This week marks 25 years since the tragic death of Princess Diana. And according to the British media, her sons, Prince Harry and William, will not spend the day together. The Telegraph reports that both princess families will mourn the occasion separately. This comes after they clearly stated in 2017 they would no longer make the day a mourning public event. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has the latest.
The two brothers have not talked to each other face to face since they unveiled a statue of their late mother at London's Kensington Palace last summer, according to the Daily Mail. The family turmoil regarding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle did not stop the two brothers from helping redesign the sunken garden at the palace in honor of the late Princess Diana. Harry was just 12 years old and William was 15 when their mother died in that tragic Paris car crash nearly 25 years ago. Now, the Daily Mail is reporting that Prince William and Harry have decided not to mark the 25th anniversary of Princess Diana's death together. The two reportedly have agreed to end attending public events together that commemorate her loss. Instead, they will grieve privately. Last week, Harry spoke about the upcoming anniversary of his mother's death.
I want it to be a day filled with memories of her incredible work and love for the way that she did it. I want it to be a day to share the spirit of my mum with my family, with my children who I wish could have met her. Every day, I hope to do her proud.
Flowers are expected to be laid en masse at Kensington Palace on Wednesday in honor of the late Princess Diana.
I think people just felt that she was like family, that she cared. They felt close to her because you knew every detail of her life. It was in all the press all the time. And there was all these things going on and you felt, very much part of her life in a way. And so when her life was snatched away, there was this big void.
Princess Diana was only 36 years old when she died on August 31st in 1997.
And coming up, Sam Lane will take another look at the forecast. And later, the Kansas City Royals hosted a game against the San Diego Padres today. Danny Terza will have those highlights later.
More.
Well, we started off the day a little bit on the wet side with those showers and thunderstorms this morning, and then once they moved east, the heat came right back in. Now we're left with a pleasant evening across the area. Taking a look down in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Pretty nice night down there, as well as across the entire four-state area. We have some clouds rolling in from the south and west from those storms down in Oklahoma. But this afternoon we made it up to 92 degrees, and of course that means 3 weeks of above normal temperatures so far this month, and 6 below and 1 normal. So it looks like we're going to finish August well above normal and go down as one of the hottest Augusts in Joplin history. Here's a look at the rainfall this morning. You can see the swath of rain right across southern Kansas, right into southwest Missouri. But notice the folks down in Delaware County, hardly a drop at all down there in Benton and Delaware County. Heaviest rain was up to the north and west, and they definitely needed it and welcomed the rainfall. Temperatures right now are in the mid-80s, 85 in Joplin, 82 in Veneta, 87 still over in Neodesha, a little bit cooler over in Monette where they're currently 79. What has been happening also with that rainfall is look at the dew points. They've now gone up into the mid-70s, and so that makes it feel muggy and downright soupy across the area. You can almost cut the air with a knife with those kind of dew points, but it does help out with the chance of showers and thunderstorms once you add heat to that. So we got to kind of take the good with the bad. It feels like right now in the 90s in some locations and upper 80s pretty much everywhere else. Allergies, they were bad once again today. 10.2 out of 12. Tomorrow will be just a little bit better. The rain helping wash a little bit of that out at 9.4. Currently in Joplin, we're sitting at 85, and it feels like 91 because, again, the dew point is up there at 72 degrees, and again, that's likely due to the rain that we had this morning, 65% on the humidity. Future track forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, lows in the 70s across our area. Pick out your hometown. Then as we go through the day tomorrow, notice scattered showers and storms expected to develop across our area and spread from east to west, and then a front dropping down from the north. And so those two things together will help add chances to showers and storms across our area. And by Tuesday morning, lows will be in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. And then as we go through Tuesday afternoon, notice drier northeasterly winds coming into our area, so we'll drop the temperatures down a little bit as well as the dew points, making it feel a little bit more comfortable, and a high of around 90 to 91 degrees. Then Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we'll start to see drier air move in, and as a result, temperatures will be cooler and more comfortable. 64 ought to do it here in Joplin. The severe weather risk is there tomorrow, but it's marginal. The best chance of severe weather will be up in Illinois, but we'll keep an eye on it for you if anything does get out of hand, with the biggest risk being the heavy rainfall. And again, I don't think anyone's going to complain if you do get under one of those thunderstorms. Here's the rain tracker forecast. Light amounts expected across the area, but there could be an isolated chance of some areas getting a little bit more than that. Your 7-day forecast, 91 tomorrow with 40% chance of storms extending into Tuesday morning, and then drier as we go through the rest of the week into next weekend. And then as we extend on out, we're going to see temperatures again close to normal, maybe slightly below, as we go into early next week with an isolated chance of storms.
Yeah, I'm happy we got some rain in the area today.
Yep.
You know, with
every little bit helps.
The dry summer we've had.
All
right, thank you, Sam.
You're welcome.
And coming up in sports, the MIAA cross-country season is on the horizon. We'll take a look at the coaches' preseason poll. Plus, the Royals host the Padres to close out a 3-game series. Danny Terza has highlights next.
MIAA cross-country season is right around the corner, and the conference has released its preseason coaches poll. On the men's side, the Missouri Southern Lions are the favorites to win this season. The Lions have won 3 of the last 5 MIAA championships. They finished in second place last season. The defending champs, the Pitt State Gorillas, secured the second place spot. The Pitt State women are ranked 3rd in the preseason coaches poll, while Missouri Southern lands in 7th place out of 13 schools. The Lions men's and women's squad are headed to Rogers State this week for their first meet of the season. The Kansas City Royals close out a 6-game homestand today. The Royals are 31-37 at home this year. Series finale against the Padres tied at 1 in the first. Brent Rooker grounds one up the middle. Salvador Perez scores. Same inning, Drew Waters smacks it deep to left field, off the wall for an RBI double. Royals put up 5 runs in the first to take a big early lead. Later, Perez blasts a 2-run home run, his 18th of the year. Royals bats are hot, bases juiced in the 8th. Nick Prado finds the gap in the outfield, 2-run double. Kansas City powers past San Diego 15-7. The St. Louis Cardinals have the 6th best record in baseball. In their last 10 games, they've gone 7-3 and have outscored their opponents by 17 runs. The Cards have a big task today, Game 3 against the Braves. This one as good as expected. Tommy Edman ties the game with a solo home run. It's 3-3 in the 8th inning. The Kansas City Chiefs wrapped up the preseason on Thursday with a win over the Green Bay Packers, and it was another good opportunity to evaluate the young talent before they trim the roster from 80 players to 53 by Tuesday. Rookie running back Isaiah Pacheco has put together an impressive training camp and preseason. The 7th-round draft pick led the Chiefs' rushing attack in Thursday's preseason finale. He had 10 carries for 52 yards. Here he is on his progress.
I'm definitely getting comfortable out there with the guys, the O-line, being able to slow down my game and be a little bit more patient. Definitely coming in early, looking at the guys, the older guys, getting a routine going, just picking their brains, so I could feel most comfortable out there. Coming in early, getting the plays down, being able to execute fast. That's what I'm coming in here to do.
That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
Summer's winding down, but the box office still has a few surprises left for us. Here's David Daniel with the early estimates for the weekend's top 5 films.
Dragon Ball Super Superhero fell from 1st to 5th in its sophomore weekend, grossing $4.6 million. In 4th place, $4.8 million put Top Gun Maverick at $691 million. Beast landed in 3rd place, earning $4.9 million in its 2nd weekend out.
I think you might be forgetting what you do for a living.
Bullet Train sped up and rose to 2nd place on ticket sales of $5.6 million.
I can't shake the feeling that everyone is staring at me.
The Invitation didn't need an invitation. The horror thriller debuted #1 with $7 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, all right, Sam, what do we have in weather?
We have some storm chances tomorrow with a high of around 91. That extends into Tuesday morning. Then it turns dry, maybe an isolated storm on Thursday, but pretty much dry through next weekend before the next chance of storms comes in early next week.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see some rain on the horizon. Hopefully those temps continue to drop just a little bit.
We want to head that direction.
All right, well, that's our time for now. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here next time. Thank you for making us part of your night. We hope you have a good one.